All right, so we have the Navbar started, and there's a few things I want to do in this video. One, I want to make the links work, because right now they're just going to the HTML pages from the theme. And then also they're using an A tag. We want to use the link component. We also want the drop-downs to work. Basically, when I click this profile link, it should have a drop-down. Also, on mobile screens, this should have a drop-down. And then finally, I just want to add the little Google icon here with Font Awesome. Now in the theme, what we did is use the Font Awesome CDN, and you can even see down here if I search for, Google, we have the I tag just like you would if you included the CDN, right? Obviously it's not showing because we didn't add that CDN, and I'm not going to. What we're going to do is use a package called React Icons, so we can install that, and then we can import any Font Awesome icons we want into the page. So let's start off by bringing in the link component. So we'll say link from next/link. And then we'll find the A tags that we need to change. Let's just search for A. Okay, so this one is around the logo. So I'm going to change that A to a link tag. href, we're going to change that from index.html to just slash. All right, so now if we come over here and click that logo, it should just keep us on the home page, right? Let's do this next. So this is the desktop menu, which are these links right here. So again, we're going to change this to link, and for the home page, that's just going to be slash. Let's change this one to link, and the ending tag should change automatically. And this is just going to be slash properties instead of properties HTML, right? And then for, let's see, the add, change that to a link, and the actual URL is going to be slash properties slash add, which we actually do have, all right? So if I save that and come back over here, now you can see it goes to my properties page and my add property page and home. Now if we go down a little bit, let's see, where's our next A tag? So messages HTML, we're going to change that to link, and then that's just going to be slash messages. Get rid of that .html. Okay, next we have profile, so we're going to change that. And that's going to be just slash profile. And then saved properties, change that to a link. And the URL that we want here is going to be slash properties slash saved. Okay, and then the sign out is actually going to be a button. So let's change the A tag to a button, and then just get rid of the href. Okay, and then we'll go down to this. This is the mobile menu. So again, change to link. href is going to be slash. This one here, link. That's going to be slash properties. Okay, then we have our add property. So that's going to be slash property slash add. And then we just have our login or register, which we can leave for now, but we want, again, this icon isn't displaying. So what we'll do is install React Icons. So I'm going to open up a new terminal here, still running the server in the other one. And let's say npm install React-icons. Okay, then what we can do is go up to the top here, and we should be able to import, let's say from, and it's going to be React Icons, but we want to do slash FA for Font Awesome, because you can use other libraries with this. And the icon we want to bring in, I believe, is FA Google. I think that's it. Yeah, so let's take that now and go back down to where we have the icon. I'll just search for Google. and we're going to replace this A tag here. Let's get rid of that. And then for the, we're going to use FA Google, but I do want to add just a couple classes here. So let's give it a class name. I want to make it text-white, and I want to move it over a little. So let's also do MR, so margin right 2. And we'll save that, and now you can see we have our little Google icon. All right, so now we can navigate around. Next thing is the drop-downs. So let's do the mobile menu first, which is this right here. Obviously, this isn't working. Now, if we go to this, the button, which is, I know there's a lot of crap here, a lot of HTML, but mobile menu button. So that's the button, but I want to go to the actual mobile menu. And everything should be labeled, should have a comment. So I'm looking for the mobile drop down, which is this right here. All right, now the reason we're not seeing it is because at the moment we have a class name of hidden. However, we're going to remove that. And if I do that, now we can actually see the mobile menu. And we can also add the Google icon here. Let's do that. So where we have this, get rid of that, FA, Google. Let's do text, class name, text white, MR2. All right. Now we want to be able to toggle it with this button, which obviously doesn't work right now. So we're going to have to bring in use state. And remember, if we're going to use a hook like use state, it has to be a client component. So let's say use client at the very top, and then let's import use state from React. Okay, and then we're going to create down here in the function, we're going to say const, and I'm going to say is mobile menu open. So that's going to be our state for this. And then we need the function, which is going to be called set is mobile menu open. Set that to use state, and the default is going to be false. All right, so now what we want to happen is when we click on this button, it's going to change, it's going to toggle this state. Okay, if it's set to true, it'll turn to false. If it's set to false, it'll turn to true. So we can do that by going to the button, which is right here, and let's add on to that an on click, and we're going to run a function that will then call set is mobile menu open, right? Yeah. And we can pass in here a function that takes in the previous value, so whatever it is, and then we want to just return the opposite of that value. So just exclamation prev, right? Now if I click it, it's not going to work yet because we haven't implemented it in the view. However, if we were to go to our React Dev Tools down here to components, and we look at the Navbar, which is right here, if I can get to it, you see this state right here, false, that pertains to that button. Now I do need to make this smaller in order to see that. So see how it says false? If I click this button, now it's true. Click it again, now it's false. So I'm toggling that state. Now we just have to reflect it by showing or not showing this menu. So we can do that by going down to the menu, which is more towards the bottom. And again, everything's commented right here, mobile menu. Okay, has the ID of mobile menu. And we want to wrap this. So what I'm going to do is open some brackets here, curly braces, and let's say is mobile menu open, and then we'll use the null coalescing, we'll use the double ampersand, which is basically saying if that's true, then output whatever I put here in these parentheses. And what I want to put there is this entire div of mobile menu, which ends right here, right above the nav tag. So what we'll do is cut that, and we'll put that into those parentheses, and we'll save. So now we can't see it, but let's come over here and click the button, and now it's toggling the state, right, to true or false, and this div is only being showed if this is true. So hopefully that makes sense. Now we want to do the same for the profile. So let's find the profile menu. That's the button, profile drop-down button. And then we have profile drop-down. That's the menu. And you can see that has a class of hidden. So we're going to get rid of that hidden, and now it shows no matter what. So now we'll add another piece of state and basically do the same thing that we did here, except we're going to call this one is profile menu open. And we'll do it here, set is profile menu open, and then we'll find the button, which is basically the image. All right, so let's find profile drop down button right here. We're going to add on click, and we want to set that to a function that then calls set is profile menu open. We're going to pass in a callback, and we're going to pass in the previous value as an argument, and then set it to not prev. Right, so now when I'm clicking this, it's toggling it. However, we need to do the same thing and wrap this in a conditional for that state. So here's the profile dropdown. Let's put some curly braces here, and we'll say is profile menu open, double ampersand, and then in these parentheses is where we want this div, which ends right here. So we'll grab that, and we'll cut it, and we'll put that in the parentheses. Okay, so I'm just going to reload this. It's not showing. Click it, shows, and now I can toggle it. Okay, and that's whether it's mobile or desktop. All right, so that should be all set. Now the last thing I want to do that pertains to the navbar is these active links, because right now if I go to /properties, the home still has that black box around it. I want to make it so if I go to this page, the black box stays around this, or if I go to add property, stays around that. So we'll do that in the next video.